shifting gears, we're still talking about point guards, though. It appears as though Kyrie Irving is committing verbally to staying with Boston. He's pretty much, for the most part, that's the word out there that he's going to stay with Boston. So that question that creates, or the question that is presented now is, does Boston need to deal Terry Rozier? Um, and Rozier, I think Rozier's stock has dipped a bit this season. I think if you talk to people about Terry Rozier at the end of last season, I think you would have people arguing, hey, that the Celtics have two NBA starting level point guards, but he's not had the type of season that people expected. I mean, he's shooting like 39% from the field, 36% from 3-point range, which is okay. His free throw shooting is down, and he's averaging 8.5 points a game, playing 23 minutes a night, which is not horrible, but he's certainly not setting the world on fire, right? But he's only 24, and he does have some. There is some examples from his recent past that would tell you that, hey, this kid may be able to be a starting level point guard. And the Celtics, even though on paper, I mean, before the season started, like the Celtics were like a total 2K team. Like, I mean, you look at their roster, you're like, oh yeah, I play with them all day, because they just seem like they got guys everywhere. But for whatever reason, it's not all come together. I think a lot of the reason it hasn't all come together is because of Gordon Hayward hasn't really hit his stride after coming back from the injury, but it hasn't hit his stride. And Jaylen Brown was out as well. So, do you think they need to deal Terry Rozier now, seeing as though they probably have their point guard locked up? If he does,
I want to specify this a little bit. First of all, I think we're being a little hard on Boston because they started the season with adding two starting players from what they ended the season with,
Mhm.
coming off of injury.
Right,
And until they changed their rotation, everybody was struggling in the very early going. Nobody looked as good as they did in previous years. Then Kyrie got his act together offensively, but the rest of the team still wasn't performing optimally until they put Marcus Smart in the starting lineup. With all that having been said, they would be in fourth place if they were in the West, right? So they have a good record. They're not a bad team by any stretch. They are
no,
one of the better teams in the NBA. They are still a favorite to make it into the Final Four in the playoffs at this point, right now, playing the way they are. That's reasonable.
I mean it's reasonable, yes.
Right. It's totally reasonable, especially going back to what you were saying about the Rockets. You look at how they started, you look at where they are, you look at where, and the fact that their talent is young, right? The Rockets
Right.
have older guys that might break down by the end of the season. Jason Tatum should be a better player come playoffs than he is right now. It's the way young guys tend to work, right? So Boston is in a good situation moving forward. However, there is a trade possibility out there that would make the answer to your question yes. And it would be basically if they build a core around Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, and Anthony Davis, they have a lot of leeway to do whatever else they want. Al Horford's probably going to be there, right? So they have enough assets to get Anthony Davis at some point before Anthony Davis's contract is over.
So wait a minute. Say that core again.
Kyrie Irving,
Uh-huh.
Jason Tatum,
Hmm.
Anthony Davis.
Okay. Hmm.
I think with their intelligence that they have in the coaching staff, with their ability to make moves and fill their roster with complementary talent, they could take that core to the bank and say, we're going to fight you with this for 10 years.
I think they could too, but I don't know that the Pelicans do a deal for Anthony Davis without Jason Tatum in it.
Maybe not, but Celtics have how many? Don't they have a lot of first round picks too?
I don't know how many they still have, because they spent a lot of seasons stockpiling first round picks. So, but a lot of some of that has gone. They do. Well, yeah, they do actually have a
Yeah,
lottery pick this year from yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's
they're the
not going to
only
be high.
team that can give up 3 high quality starting level players and a bunch of draft picks and take on salary from the
Actually, yeah.
Pelicans.
Actually, they have 3 first-round picks this year.
Yeah. So they like the Pelicans can, because here's the thing. There's no deal on the table in the league better than what Boston can offer. So they control the market. Anthony Davis, if he says I'm leaving and the Pelicans decide, well, we need to rebuild, Boston offers the absolute best rebuilding package by far on paper right now.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. I don't know though.
So,
It's going
but
to
my
be
answer
really
to you
tough for
is
me to do that without him.
I get it. What my answer is, well, but the thing is, even with Tatum not in the deal, that's still better than what the Lakers can offer you. That's still better than what anybody else can offer you. Nobody has gathered as many assets as Boston. And Boston, because if Gordon Hayward continues to get healthier, and he has been getting healthier, like there's no reason to believe that he won't eventually get back to a guy who is a starting level player.
So
They
you're
can get
saying Gordon Hayward,
Jalen Brown, Terry
Jalen.
Rozier, and a bunch of first round draft picks for Anthony Davis. Gets no better than that.
I don't know.
Gets
I
no
don't
better
know.
than that. Knowing you're
I,
gonna lose him
I feel
anyway.
I feel like you're getting fleeced, but I mean, I don't know. I
You ain't getting
feel
fleeced for something you're about to lose.
I put it like this. I feel like that sounds great, right? If the draft picks is the draft picks are the biggest value, but you got to win on those draft picks, right?
Yeah.
And the thing of it is Gordon Hayward, like you said, it's totally reasonable to think that he becomes, what he was before. It's
Yeah.
totally reasonable, but it's also logical to think that he doesn't, right? So he's the one of the most significant players that you have there. Jalen Brown I have a lot of confidence in Jalen Brown being a very good player in the
Mhm.
NBA. Terry Rozier, I think, definitely has some potential. There's just a lot of ifs. To me, if I am moving Anthony Davis, I want at least one thing in the draft, I mean, in the trade that I know I
So
know it's
going back to my point, who would that be?
this is
You
why I
can't say
think
Jason Tatum because Boston controls the highest overall offer. It needs to be somebody
what
else offering you
what
something for Anthony Davis that you're gonna lose anyway.
what I think is if you look at the Lakers, if you look at Kyle Kuzma, I think Kyle Kuzma is the guy who's like, okay, I know what this kid is. He's not hurt. I know that the upside is still there. He's already a really good player, and the upside is absolutely there for him to be even better. So if you give a deal of Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, and the Lakers first round pick, which is not going to be great, it's going to be in the 20s. I don't know. And then also, I would say we need a second round pick, but the Lakers don't even have a second round pick this year. But there's some other future draft, some of the future draft considerations would have to be involved. But I don't know, depending on how attached you are to getting something back that is a proven non-injured commodity, that might be interesting. Now, I'm gonna tell you, the Bulls could actually
Oh
put
my
together. No,
god.
listen to what I'm saying.
Oh my
I'm
god.
just
Anthony
saying.
Davis, no, because no,
No,
he's not
listen.
going
Okay,
to
listen.
sign with the
Listen to what
Bulls.
I'm
That's
saying.
the
Listen to
problem.
what I'm saying. The only and I'm going to shoot it down myself.
I know
Right?
you just started your head coaching job for the Bulls.
No, I'm gonna shoot it down myself, but I'm gonna give you both sides of it. The
Okay.
Bulls could give a package that is actually better than the Celtics from a talent, an in league talent standpoint. Now, here's the problem: the Bulls probably would not give all of that up because the chances that Anthony Davis re-signs in Chicago, even though that's his hometown, are probably slim to none. Okay, but Wendell Carter Jr., Chris Dunn. The Bulls are horrible right now. Anthony Davis helps them but the pick is still going to be a lottery pick. Still going to be a lottery pick.
I'm embarrassed for you.
I'm
embarrassed for Chicago.
Are you serious?
I'm embarrassed for the at me, bro.
Have you watched Wendell Carter this year?
He's a good player.
Yes, he's a very good player, and he's 20.
Yeah, he's good.
And he's on the books for at least 3 more years if you pick up the option.
Yeah.
And we're talking about at 3.7 million. Now the Bulls would have to find or give here's the trade. Here's the trade. It's Jabari Parker. And Jabari Parker's not going there for value. He's going there to make the trade numbers work. That's the only reason. And he comes off the books at the end of this year. So he's a salary dump just to make the trade work. So he's not presenting value. But it's Jabari Parker, Wendell Carter Jr., Chris Dunn, and the Bulls' first round pick this year, which is going to be a lottery pick. That's a better deal than the Boston Celtics. The only problem is that Anthony Davis is not going to sign in Chicago. So why would the Bulls do that? They'll be giving away so much. I mean, honestly, if I was the Bulls, I'd do it anyway. Because I would take the risk of saying, hey, we're going to try to make this guy fall in love with his own with his hometown city. I would do it. The Bulls have as many young assets on their team.
This is getting ugly. Here's the thing.
The Bulls have a ton of young assets.
It doesn't make sense for the Bulls to give up Wendell Carter Jr. at this point for a guy that is almost definitely going to leave town. And your organization is the second biggest mess in the league.
It's a mess. It's a big bag of trash.
Right. And he's tired of losing. His organization is not even a mess.
But this is why I said I'm shooting my own argument down.
Stop.
But
and here's the thing: you talk about all of the young talent on your team. The young talent in Boston almost went to the finals.
You know why? The difference between the young talent in Boston and the young talent in Chicago is the young talent in Boston is well coached.
They are definitely much better coached. We can all agree with that. We ain't even sure if you guys have a coach right now.
I don't know. Whatever. It's horrible. And so that's what's happening. It's horrible. So my point of it was just from a package standpoint. The Bulls can offer a package.
I don't agree. I don't agree that that's a better package.
The
only reason that package even gets here's the thing. Here's where this doesn't make any sense because we're trying to talk about stuff that makes actual sense that might happen. And I'm asking you who can offer a better package.
And I'm saying the Bulls could offer a better package.
When we say can, we mean actually might. This is something that actually could be on the table. The only thing the Bulls that they could give up would basically be Zion Williamson.
Here's the thing.
Why would you do that? You're a rebuilding team.
You know, I honestly, would you rather have Zion Williamson or Anthony Davis?
If you're a rebuilding team and you have it, hold on real quick. Let me finish my sentence. And you have a draft pick, a high draft pick, possibly number 1 in this draft, and your window is not going to open up for another 3 years minimum, particularly when you not only have player personnel problems, but you don't have a system in place yet. So you're going to be looking for your coach. You are not going to get an Anthony Davis that is almost 100% going to leave over a Zion Williamson who is 100% going to stay.
Here's the thing. I understand what you're saying. And this is the point that I was making. This is the reason why I say the Bulls would probably not make this offer, even though I may consider taking this gamble because you can't compare it to the Kawhi situation because Kawhi walked into a Toronto team that is a winning team. And it's much easier to convince a guy to stay if you're winning. The Bulls, in order to have a chance to like this year is done. But see, people forget Anthony Davis is not a free agent this year.
Yeah, he's
a free agent at the end of next year. So the Bulls would still have a season and a half to try to put something together around him that is a good enough team. The thing of it is you still. I'm becoming less of a believer of Zach LaVine by the minute, but he's still going there to play with Lauri Markkanen. And Lauri Markkanen is a future star in the league. I'm telling you, Lauri Markkanen is a future star in the league.
Lauri Markkanen, star in the league?
Yeah, Anthony freaking Davis.
No, Kyrie Irving. Remember, we're talking about.
I'm not saying that. That's clear, obviously, but we're talking about. I'm not talking about Anthony Davis's choice yet.
But you have to. It's part of the deal.
It is part of the deal, but it's not part of the deal, right? Because think about it like this. The Bulls could trade Anthony Davis in the middle of next season.
So you think for a year in Chicago, you think it's all worth it because after a year in Chicago, Anthony Davis might hang around.
He might hang around, but during the middle of next season, you might get the indication he's not staying. So now the Bulls become the team with the asset.
I'm just so glad that this footage is frozen in time.
I'm just trying to say, like I said,
everybody like Chicago fans think.
No, like I said, this is a deal that is more than likely not going to happen. I totally understand why it wouldn't happen from a Bulls standpoint.
So you still have not answered my question. What situation is more likely and favorable?
That's not what you said at
than
first.
The Boston situation.
That's not what you said at first.
I didn't know that you was going to go to complete unrealistic Chicago fantasy land for something that's obviously not going to happen. So now I have to narrow it down. I have to narrow it down because you're being ridiculous. Because you're being ridiculous.
No, you said what team?
You said I would bring up something I don't even agree with. I don't even think this is going to happen. But I'm going to waste the people's time anyway because I'm from Chicago and I just want to dream and not think about how terrible my team is.
This was great. As a matter of fact, people probably think I'm from Texas today because I have on a Rangers hat and a Fast Slamma Jamma t-shirt.
But they can smell the deep dish coming through the monitor.
I wish I had some. I think we're going to order some deep dish today. Anyway,
I might have a real pizza, but they only make in New York.
No, the sheet of paper with tomato sauce on it, that's some crap. It's the worst thing. And you order a slice
Y'all make great pasta. Pasta's awesome.
Yeah, well, you know
Italian dishes are great.
Yeah,
but pizza, which is different than
a sheet of meat,
than cheese, a souffle. Y'all be making souffle and call it. Y'all don't understand what lasagna actually is. Y'all call it pizza.
Hot baskets of garbage. Any rate, what you said was what team could offer a better deal?
That Anthony to complete the sentence, that Anthony Davis would actually take.
Okay. Well, no, you had completed your sentence. Now you're up. Now you're adding an amendment.
How much sense you had? I forgot that you were in Chicago. I forgot you were in Chicago. And if I ask a question, you might bring up the Bulls. You might be like, "Who gonna be the MVP this year?" You be like, "Well, if Lauri Markkanen really turns it up, he got a chance."
Forgot that you were in New York, so y'all are abrupt and you cut off sentences midway because of your inherent rudeness. So there is that. So now
Chicago, y'all can't lecture nobody on rudeness. I've been to your city several times.
No, people are rude in Chicago for a reason. They're angry. They're cold. His wind is blowing. People in New York are just angry because they're not in Chicago. That's the whole point. That's how it all works. But anyway, we gotta go.
I'll be weak. I'm rather unique.